that we didn't mention. That's another option. It is going to be Sky Temple, though. So they're just going to take this kind of macro control game that they've been so good at, win the early game, and try to snowball this one. Boss control, we saw with the draft they had last game, was fantastic. We'll see if they grab a similar one to try to get that level 10 boss. For Ace, I feel like the Abathur comp was pretty cool. It was fairly successful, but they got bullied in lane, and Karazim helped them get some picks in the early game, but Anub'arak was unsuccessful in those fights when the Sanctifications were coming down, when Malfurion was hitting those Twilight Dreams.
I think they really underestimated what GLuck could do with the camp timings because they were lacking wave clear. I think they should be thinking a little bit more because oftentimes they bring lots of melee. So they're going to keep that trend continue and start banning from Tyrael and of course Maya ban and continue with that Malfurion. I think they're trying to have Gammy as their support now.
Yeah, it's been pretty consistent this series with the exception of the Cursed game. They had Malfurion first pick with the Tyrael ban, 3 of 3 now of the first pick games. The response for GLuck was the Genji Uther every time, but we saw that the adaptation was there on Infernal Shrines, so maybe taking a different approach would be better. I like this. Picking up the ETC, we saw that famous clip from Milky Way a few weeks ago on this map for boss control with Genji, or sorry, excuse me, with Tyrael banned. This is the next best thing for them. So they're basically just saying, I'm not going to allow a ban on this. We're taking it no matter what. You can ban the Uther. Sure, our Genji isn't going to be as strong, but we have this comfort pick. Would have liked, to be honest, something different than the Genji here, given that Uther is definitely going to be banned, but see how they want to flex forward here.
I think Verlig is really feeling great on his Genji. Of course, did not work perfectly in all games, but what he's doing individually and having the trust coming out from the support and the tank line, I think is enough. They have to pick up a few more DPS, of course, to pair that up, but Ace is going to go strong, pick up Tracer and Sonya away from GLuck now.
Yeah, so pretty similar draft to the one that we saw in Cursed, or excuse me, well it is, but on the other side of things from GLuck with the Tyrael switched with the Sonya. This has to be an Uther ban. It's like the most obvious ban in HGC history. So Garrosh removed means Ace is probably looking towards the Anub'arak pick again. But my bigger question is, what are we going to see for the support here for Genji? I know that it's more common in other regions, and I had a lot of talks with the HGC casters about this at Eastern Clash, that Rhaegar is the go-to here.
I think Rhaegar is the go-to, I do agree, but because it's Blue Beetle, because he's Blue Beetle, I think he has a greater chance of picking Stukov. And even though it's not the best map for Stukov here, as it's very open, the temple is very open, the lane is very far apart, and also so Stukov has a slow mobility hero, so it's going to be tough.
What about another Medivh? Like, I feel like Medivh could be good. I'm not saying like he solo support, but yeah, there's
But Blue Beetle loves playing Stukov. That's what he does all the time, so that's coming in. But Medivh actually coming in for Ace once again.
So this is looking really similar to
Anub'arak still
Shrines.
available.
I think it perfectly synergizes what they've built. Obviously, one of the cool things about Polybomb in this draft too is that it works very well with the it's an anti-synergy with Stukov. He has to spread his healing across members, so they have to be in range with each other.
Yes.
Polybomb means that you don't want to stand next to each other, so as it turns out, there's a lot of counterplay with Polybomb against Stukov, and I like the direction that Ace is going with this again. Is going to be Blaze as the final pick. I was wondering if we might see Medivh by GLuck because of the basically because this draft is gone in such a way where it's tough to get value out of the Genji. But Medivh is another hero that Overlord likes to play a lot. So I was thinking, you know, maybe. But
and he was back in Sens, back in Super League, and
Yeah.
he was the first one to use Medivh.
That's right.
And I still remember, but in this case, of course, a different map. In Forest Shrines, I think Medivh was the best case scenario for Ace. It's going to be a different one, has a lot more open space, but I think what they're looking for is that bottom camp and the boss zone. I think that's what they're going to focus super hard in this game.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to deny boss control, though, on Ace's side, like the Anubarak, the Medivh, and GLuck. They have Bunker, which I think is going to be so critical in controlling these boss pits, plus ETC, obviously. But it is going to be a lot harder than I think they originally planned on having of a time to control this boss. Medivh, 2 games, man, in this first series. And I wonder what Ballistics and Tempest will do when we see them later on.
Did Tempest ever lock in the Medivh?
I
don't think so.
I don't think ever, like ever. Like never, ever, even one time.
Like if I had to choose, I think Lockdown will be the one playing Medivh, but I have no idea in this case. But let's focus
I feel like
on this
Dami's supposed to, but yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there.
I know a lot of hype is in for game number 2, match number 2, but still Medivh is again here for Ace, and it is going to be KCB sticking with that Anubarak. I think it's pick specific maybe. We'll have to ask them later after the match if it's going to be just for a temporary change or for today only, or it's going to be the part 2 change.
Yeah. I get the feeling it's going to be long-term, just because we saw it so much this series. Well, level 2 are on the horizon for both these teams, as the bot lane is kind of struggling for GLuck. They're going to take this camp in order to make that less of a reality, whereas in the top lane, Sonya is crushing the 1v1 against Blaze, which doesn't always happen, by the way. So with the Sonya rework, and
Sonya's was about to go down. I think she almost got caught in the Blaze stun and some tower shots.
Yeah, I think definitely got some tower shots with the Blaze stun for sure. But yeah, it doesn't always happen this way. Like normally the Blaze can hold its own against the Sonya, so I'm not entirely sure what happened up there before that. But it's back to more normalcy now, as we are going to see the Night Camp is taken here for GLuck. Because Sonya was damaged because the wave is pushed, she can't actually go take the Night Camp right now. It's not realistic. And there's no support down in the bottom lane because they had to, at the same time, deal with the Siege Night Camp and take their own. So, in terms of lane control right now, GLuck in a slight lead. But you'll know that Ace is going to feel it more once this Night Camp really starts pushing. In fact, they totally swap lanes. And they're going to go for a heavy commitment. Maybe even look for a fort here. This is a really heavy commitment by GLuck.
I think GLuck has a better understanding of when to push, because after the changes to all the ammo, basically, after the ammo was gone, the camp, pushing with the camp, it makes it so much importance because you have to commit so much more resources, and heroes actually push in. They never run out of ammo.
Yeah.
So you can't just leave lane and think it'll be pushed later on. You have to actually commit a lot of resources, and GLuck has been doing that all the time when Ace does not.
Well, Ace is like also trying to camp right now while this is happening. Remember, this isn't even a 4-man push. They get only 1 cannon tower. They forced a reaction out of Ace. And because GLuck was ready to adapt, that meant that Genji was pushing bot the entire time. So they got a whole half level of experience lead. And GLuck missed 2, or excuse me, Ace missed 2 minion waves during all of this. Now GLuck is going to take control of this mid-shrine, as Witcher is just trying to build up some more of his stacks. Will get caught here, knocked away from the portal. That was a scary moment.
Just close enough, and the silence could have been a big tool, but still you can walk into it.
Yeah. Put a silence on top of the portal though, so anyone else using it's going to walk out with the silence. But yeah, wasn't going to be effective in this case, as you say. GLuck could actually try to make a play to collapse top after this final shots in this temple comes through. Ooh, KCB needs to be careful.
Still with Medivh around, I think he can just continue to kind of were trying to take this watchtower in the middle as they just finish their shots coming from the top. Actually, Blaze alone had a hard time defending all that camp coming in, lost all the wall before the fort. Actually lost the fountain too.
Rush really eating some damage here. There's no way that GLuck can like try to make a boss play right now. There's no objectives on the map. The only thing that GLuck can do with trades like this is just try to push a cannon tower wall down, try to damage a fort. Like mid is open. I see them take, okay, this does come up online, so I can grab this first and they'll probably make a push to threaten mid. Ideally, getting the healing well would be what they want, but Ace is positioned too well to prevent that from happening. But any picks means that GLuck gets 10 first, controls boss, so Ace needs to play passive right now. Okay, KCB, really aggressively positioned, could get punished. So, Witcher to portal out. Total control right now to GLuck on this wave push. Did I kick out your mic?
I think so.
Are you alright? Can you hear me now? Is everything okay?
It's okay.
Sorry.
I can still hear you. I can't monitor it for a second, but still.
Okay.
All good. And Blaze has been keeping the lane pretty strongly. And now the boss control is coming in and they're about to hit level 10. I think that's the exact timing that Ace is looking for. GLuck, they have to push as far as possible if they want to control anywhere around the boss right now.
Now, this is going to be really important team fight. The winner of this, okay, they're going to disengage. I was saying the winner of this fight gets the boss. Not going to be a commitment to the fight though. Both teams disengage. Rush is super deep in, by the way, but I don't know if that's really going to work in his favor. Okay, Temple's up in 5. 10 just around the corner here for GLuck. So unfortunate for Ace, they're just one step behind on that. This could even be an invade if GLuck sees this. They don't, they're playing it safe.
Ace is close to 10, but not yet, so they're actually giving up a lot of the shots coming from the bottom. Now they have level 10, you can lock in. Let's see if it's going to be Polybomb once more.
Yeah, I think Leyline Seal is also great here. Rush has to use the boss to spear away. Does get the protection there. It is Polybomb. So all these fights are so important. Relic X strikes. Pulse Bomb connects. He did not use his deflect there. Not the best timed X strike. He also locked it in for this specific moment. And now he's not going to have Dragon Blade for the rest of the game. Not a comp that empowers Dragon Blade because they don't have Uther. They have Stu comp, but still painful there for 2 reasons. And now Ace could actually potentially look for a boss fight.
X-Rat actually pairs up okay along with the Mosh Pit. You can get that secondary damage along with the perfect Mosh Pit, so it kind of works out, but I think they really needed that Dragon Blade because they have Odin now. It will get some poking damage, but once you have to really get the kill, find the kill, you need that Genji to go in and swing that blade for the kill.
Yeah, Ace, with this last win in this fight, this pick in this last fight and the X-Strike, I think really controls the damage now quite significantly. With baseline Master's Touch, you know, you have Sony has much more damage than Blaze is in terms of bruising, plus Tracer. Whereas on the side of GLuck, they have Tychus, who can burn down tanks, but that's about it. Polybomb used early.
Portal's already used, so he's gonna go down. There was no way of surviving on
Master's Touch interrupted here.
Ooh, but that means boss, no protection, all the teammates are onto the other side. I think it was going to be boss no matter what, since all the members were already into the top lane. But even with that kill, GLuck will have a better chance of catching up here.
Yep, so grabbing this boss means that they can look for more opportunities. I wasn't talking about picks, but I almost got one there onto Rush, who's been... Feels like he's trying to live on the red side of the map this game. So they're just going to take this boss opportunity to kind of control mid. Notice what Milky Way is doing right now. Trying to stop the rotation down. Unsuccessful. But the boss almost allowed them to get double fort. They are going to get this bot fort, it looks like. They're going to try to commit to mid, but they're just going to grab this camp instead. Actually, just keep his save too. Or sorry, fort, excuse me.
Let's see how well this Polybomb works here. I think it's a great counter against the bunker at the same time. You can cancel the Mosh, whoever comes out from the bunker can be polybombed right after. I think Ace is really putting that to the biggest advantage with the resources that they have. I don't even know if having 2 or 3 members in that bunker would be a good idea when so many tools are away from your team. It's going to be an easy pulse bomb to land though. As a tracer player, polybomb of course, Sonya can just spear in. The bunker can actually work in favor of Ace in multiple times.
Yeah, just depending on how it's used. I think that GLuck getting this boss is super important too because like this is probably the only boss they're ever gonna get in terms of like a straight up fight. Like they won before the boss, so we're able to take the boss for free. But like in a straight up fight at the boss pit, like Ace always should theoretically have control of a fair fight. So that's really nice for them as these are traded. Ace really looking for a hardcore fight. Like they are really committing here. This is not what they wanted. They wanted to actually grab a pick. Good disengage by GLuck. Look, I saw Malfurion, or sorry, not Malfurion, a Nubarok right now. I was wondering if he was going to try to flank.
I think all they needed was to pressure in because that top wave is huge. They needed some time. Someone to actually clean that up. They wanted to have that going on onto the other side of the map, so GLuck does the exact same thing. They need to buy some time. I think that's why they were creating that pressure. Of course, this boss won't be back in 2:30 anyhow, so Ace, no camps available. They didn't have anything else to do, so just why not just pressure when they do not have the wave clear to buy time?
Exactly. There's no other objectives on the map, as you say. I mean, you've just been watching you. So it's kind of funny because it's so risky to soak when the waves are pushed like this for GLuck, so they're kind of just like rotating between bot and mid, trying to hope they get vision and they can soak. That's why Tychus finally, when they see the mid rotation up, is going to stay down there and grab some extra experience. Needs to be careful though, because if he stays too long, he's going to get killed. He clears the waves, headed back. Too slow for rotation, unfortunately, for Hero to get the pick. Such a passive game right now because there's no objectives on the map, so there's no reason to show yourself or look for a fight. Boss is coming up around 13 minutes, so again, that's so far away. Finally, the temples will spawn, as well as this camp, so GLuck will be able to do something other than just kind of stand in the jungle, like wondering when the boss will spawn. Or
because GLuck got the boss, and basically each team were going around doing the camps onto the other side. They were never threatened. They were never going to engage or invade into the other team's side. So they had all the camp controlled. So they had all this time to basically waste and try to control the wave clear. That's all they could do. Not really lose any teammates, but here comes the temple phase.
Okay, Milky Way looked like he was definitely looking for a greedy mosh. Holds his power slide. This is going to be a very important setup here. Polybomb and Mosh Pit are the big tools to start the fight off. Okay, Relic is already under duress here. Huge shove from Blue Beetle keeps KCB out of the fight, but he's going to cost him big. Mosh Pit comes through though. Here's the X Strike on top of it. Healing coming through on the side of the Tranquility though, trying to mitigate some of that damage. Relic gets caught here. The rest of his team is pretty much cut down and dead.
Even with that, that's not even enough damage. Rush was providing so much damage even before the team fight actually happened. Genji was below half health.
Is this game? The 3 dead? They have both walls up. Someone has to deal with this if they're not going to commit to core.
Let's see the timing onto the bot. I think
it's up in 10.
It's up in 10. If they get the boss and then 2 temples, I think they can get all keeps at least. Or it should be very close to 2 keeps or more.
You know, I feel like they could have been decisive, at least committed to 1 keep, taking a boss fight afterwards. Game is a bit strong, the language I used earlier, but if they committed to a mid keep, for example, then they rotated back to the boss, they have the boss control winning fight. Like, taking a boss because they got kills, I feel like is a waste because they could take a 5v5 boss fight whenever they wanted to because of the comp that they're running in the Polybomb, the Nubarok, no Tyrael on the other side. But to take a boss just because they got kills, I feel is wasteful because they could have tried to push a keep, then get boss after the respawns.
I agree. I agree on your statement. I think they had to go for a double temple and try to get as maximum shots before this boss. Basically, It's not wasted. This boss is not wasted,
just
but
safer.
it's not as
Yeah, it's
strong as what they could have been if they pushed with 5 men or
Yeah.
even force a team fight in that small choke point. There, basically, that's the best point that you want to take a fight on.
Yeah,
for Ace.
you basically like didn't capitalize as well as you could have. You weren't greedy enough. Looks like it's still gonna get a keep here. Maybe if they got the last temple shots, they are gonna walk away from this though. This is still a bad fight for GLuck if they get caught in this choke point for the same reasons as the boss pit. Okay, good splits here. Odin's coming out. Okay, Mosh Pit here. Grabs a Nubrock. There's the silence follow-up. Tranquility trying to keep everybody alive. Good bunker here. Polybomb has already been used.
Big knockup with the stun coming in. Relic's trying to do some damage, but already too much AoE damage done from Ace, and they're going in. They're chasing with the portal. Let's see if they have enough damage. It seems like they're going to get another kill onto ETC, but that's going to be about it.
Just too much.
Not even a kill. Not even going to follow. They're going for the keep now.
Yeah, they want to. Keep is directly hitting the heroes. Unfortunately, that's a Sonya. Minions coming through here. They're going to be able to push through. They can look for the double keep. Don't think they can go core with really only one dead. These fights, just like we saw on Infernal Shrines, there's better sustainability on Ace with the Medivh Malfurion. The Genji damage is really not there, especially with the X-Strike.
They hit 20, and they're going for the core. When Temple's available, they're taking the short way to call this down. There's no silence, so there's that pulse bomb on the Milky Way.
Yeah, they grab Medivh here. Okay, heals coming through for Sonya. Saron is going to go down. There's just way too much sustainability on the side of Ace. Again here, Milky Way caught, stunned, rooted, you name it.
All the CCs coming down, and Hero's just having a fun time doing all that DPS alone as a Tracer, and that's going to be core under attack now with 4 men though. See if that's enough.
That Tranquility here doing a lot for the heals, and I think this should be enough damage. 30%, 20%. We are going to a Game 5, GLuck. This has been a scrappy series to say the least. There have been mistakes on both sides, but the strength of Ace definitely runs with these Medivh compositions. They've practiced it well during the off-season with the rework of Medivh. Sonya as well, of course, let's not forget, being reworked, and they are using her well. And unfortunately for GLuck, I feel like these comps running into the Medivh, their entire game plan clearly feels like it is a Divine Shield to Genji, pop the Dragon Blade and go fight, when they didn't have the Uther, when it was just banned away from them. They took ETC for the comfort over the Uther, and I think that may be why they lost this game. Not to mention the fact that they just didn't know how to deal with the Medivh composition.
Yeah, Medivh, not just Medivh composition. I think they were choking a little bit during the team fight, not really knowing what to do. When the bunker was dropped, everyone was saying, let's just go in because we need that protective tool. But when there's a Malfurion right after, when you come out of the bunker, you will be rooted. When an Uber comes in, there will be multiple people just going into the air and then stunned right after. That pairing, how they executed, how Ace was executing that moment when the bunker dropped, they knew exactly what to do. They had that root, they had the burrow charge, and Sonya was unstoppable by that moment.
I feel like, yeah, with how GLuck is playing, like their playstyle is so balled up, like it's such a death bell oriented roaming comp that they did in this game, especially because the objectives were taken so consistently. They were like all grouped together all the time. That's why Ace was looking for those fights nonstop, because like we got Polybomb, we've got a Nubrock, we've got Sonya, all these heroes that excel when they're up against a comp that's clumped up. And it was the same thing we saw on Infernal Shrines, with a very similar composition, with the exception being really the Junkrat. I hope that whatever we see for Game 5, if the draft starts the same way for GLuck, I want Ace to draft this Medivh Sonya again, as it is clearly working. It really is.
And oftentimes when GLuck was banning